One thing that's been taking the filmmaking world by storm in the last year or two is the advent of DSLR filmmaking. Now, I've not been able to do any videos on DSLR filmmaking because my experience with them has been pretty limited. However, I just got one. So, this is the Canon 550D, and I'm going to be shooting a lot of stuff with this. I've already been using it for a day or two, and I have to say I've been pretty blown away by the quality of what I was able to achieve, even with just the kit lens that comes with it that's supposedly not meant to be the best. Even with the kit lens, it blows away most video cameras in my opinion. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about this camera because I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of videos on DSLR filmmaking. Now I know in this channel we've talked about micro budget, so it depends what your definition of that is. Now this camera came in at £650, and you might think, well, that is hardly micro budget, but in the world of film it really is. What this camera can achieve for the price is nothing short of staggering. And you may look at it and you may think, well, it looks like a digital stills camera, and that is primarily what it is. You have to remember this about DSLR cameras. You have to remember that they are for still photography. They are not built for video. It's just the video footage function has been added afterwards, and because of the fantastic image, the quality and size of the sensor inside, and the fact that you can put it on some fantastic lenses, all adds up to an incredible overall image. Now, they're not perfect, like I say, because they're not video cameras. Don't throw away your DVX 100 or whatever you're filming on, because you may still have good use for those cameras. These aren't as easy to use as cameras that are custom built for video. There are problems with them. I mean, this only has a 12-minute record time, so you can only record 12 minutes at a time. So if you're doing documentaries, interviews, things like that, it might not be ideally suited for you. Otherwise, you're going to have to break your interview up into sections, and if you're doing an interview, you might not want to, break the flow of what's going on. So maybe not ideal for that. The sound on these cameras is pretty poor. It's usable for things like vlogs and stuff like that, but it's certainly not usable. Usable? That's not even a word. Usable for proper filmmaking. Now, a lot of people see that as a drawback. I don't really, because as far as I'm concerned, if you're serious about filmmaking, you should record your video footage and your sound separately. You may record chunks of them at the same time, but you want to be recording your sound onto something else, and we'll be doing videos about that here. Now, that being said, there is an external mic input in this camera, so that is handy. So you can use the audio in this for reference, and there are hacks available to make the sound much better, but I don't really want to risk breaking my camera, so I'm just going to leave it as is for now. So there are other issues with these. There's something called the jello effect. Because this is a CMOS sensor, when you move your camera around, you might have seen this in digital cameras, when you move it around a lot, you see the video footage sort of swaying slightly and rippling at the sides. It's sort of a strange effect. So people call that the jello effect or shutter roll effect, and you get that even with these cameras. If you move it around a lot, you're going to get strange twisting of the footage. So you have to keep that in mind if you want to do a lot of movement with the camera, and that, again, this might not be ideal for you. You also get something called moire, which some people pronounce it moire. I don't know which one's right, but I'm going to say moire, which you get with pretty much every video camera anyway, but it's really pronounced in these Canons, where if someone wears, for example, a top with striped lines going across them, you'll see a sort of strange artifact going on around them. So you want to be careful of that. And like I say, the biggest thing with these is that you're probably going to have to invest in other equipment. You're going to have to probably invest in a good, perhaps a shotgun mic, a sound recorder, and you may want to invest in a viewfinder that clips onto the LCD screen, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. A shoulder mount, or obviously a tripod, or a monopod, which is something you hold, or a stabilizer, which acts like a Steadicam. So it's a serious investment. You're going to spend a bit of money on this. However, on this channel, hopefully what we're going to do in the long term is we're going to show you how to build a lot of these things so that you can do them from scratch, very cheap, and you don't really need to worry about forking out hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I'm not kidding, hundreds and hundreds of dollars for something that you could maybe build for $20–30. And less sometimes. I mean, I've seen some like Steadicam devices which would really only cost maybe $10–20 to make. So pretty incredible there if you can get into that sort of thing. So hopefully we'll do some stuff with that. So I'm going to be shooting on this, going to see how it goes, and I'm not abandoning the whole idea of making a film for this channel on an old high-8 camera. That's still going to be a real priority for this channel, to show what you can do with old legacy formats. So anyway, the Canon 550D is an incredible piece of kit, as much as I was listening to bad things about it. The video footage in low light, the video footage, it shoots at full 1080p, at 24 frames per second or 25 frames per second, and it's just a wonderful piece of kit. And if you want to do stills, which is always good for promotion for your film, production shots, or location scouting, you're going to use this as well. So you're going to use it for everything. And so £650 to be able to do something that to shoot video of a quality that would normally cost you thousands and thousands of pounds, I mean, that is just amazing. Anyway, so more videos to come on this, and a whole bunch of other videos on the general filmmaking process once again. So thanks for listening. It's not on.